Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Tonight, we are talking about Michael McKee. He is the Dr. Monique Tepe's ex-husband, who is said to have unalived Spencer and Monique Tepe. The indictments have rolled out. We're going to take a very close look of that and a whole lot more this evening. Stick around on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace, smile through pain with a painted face. They called me too loud, too much, too strong, but honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's a twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. I shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake my plan, but I'll rise again. Just watch me judged by the gloss, not the cause. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm an unbreakable soul, dressed in truth and pearls. The fire don't scare me, it lights my world. You can doubt my voice, but you'll hear my name. I'm holy and hood, and I'm done with shame. For everyone called too much, too loud, too real. You're not to anything. You're exactly what power looks like. I'm an unbreakable soul, through the fight and flame. My scars are stories, my strength, my faith. Faith in my heart, fire in my curls, forever divine. Clutch them pearls.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is January 16th, 2026. It is currently 8:06 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Bonjour. Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me. Really do appreciate you guys coming in. And tonight we're talking about the double murder of Spencer and Monique Tepe. They have came back, the grand jury, with a true bill, meaning all charges went through the grand jury. Which is pretty awesome. Very awesome. Before we get started, you guys, if you don't mind, for my live chat and for my replay crew, how are you? Do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up button. Would be so thankful if you would, and share the live stream out in any of your favorite social media. Would mean so very much. Let me say hello to a few of you in chat. Hello, Miss Grace. Today is Grace's birthday. We've got to say happy birthday to Mrs. Grace. It's Grace's birthday. I was going to text her in a little bit. So y'all make sure you say happy birthday to Mrs. Grace up in here. Hello, Miss Sherry Lynn, Detective Tam. Hello, Tina, Carol, Lady Gracious, Lynn, Grace again, Scorpio, Sherry, good to see you. Lou, hello, Lady Gracious, Juju, Deanna, Amy, good to see you. Lolo, and Tina, Teresa, Heather, Kim, Robin, Carol, good to see you. Who else do we got? There's Miss Holly. Thank you, Miss Holly. That was a very good video you sent the other day. Teresa, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Gracie Grace. Appreciate you so much, Justin. Hit the like and subscribe, share the video, pearls. Thank you so much, my love. Really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. I see everyone saying happy birthday to Miss Grace up in here. You guys are so sweet. I am burning up, y'all. My glasses are fogging. Do you see my glasses fogging? It's so bad. It's so bad. I just opened the window just now. Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know why I'm sweating like this, but I am. So this is what happens when you're live. Can't cut it. Hey, just me. Good to see you, Allison, Tina, Anna Banana. Good to see everyone. All right, guys. So we're going to get started with it, guys. Make sure, mods, please remind me to make sure I sing happy birthday to our dear Miss Grace at the end of this live stream, if you don't mind. So I've got the documents, all of that, and we're going to look at that here shortly. But guess what? Guess what? Michael McKee, the man of being accused of this heinous crime. Right there he is, Michael McKee. One of his ex-girlfriends came out and said what she knew and why the relationship didn't last and all of that. And I'm going to show it to you guys. It's very, very interesting. And to me, it's not a surprise, some of the things that she said, because I have said this all along from the information that I've been told privately, how Michael McKee is. And we're going to get to that in just a second. Beautiful woman she is. And I'm going to show it to you right now. Here we go. And my chat is freezing again. Come on, YouTube. Maybe I should come back out and go back in. Let's see here. Okay, there, it's moving again. There we go. Okay. So let's get right to it, shall we? This is the ex-girlfriend of Michael McKee. Oops, let me unmute it here.
Okay, so crazy story time. So last Sunday, I get a text message from an old coworker that linked this article about a Michael David McKee, and my heart dropped because that's one of my ex-boyfriends, which is pretty insane. I was floored. So just wanted to hop on and talk a little bit about the whole situation. So I dated him around the end of 2017 through a good chunk of 2018, I think. So what I remember of him is he was just like a nice guy. Like he was
2020 or 2017 and 2018, not too long ago, right, is when she dated him. And everyone says that surface level, he is a nice guy, right? But that's the surface level. Everyone who knows him says, yeah, he was just a nice guy. But you're going to hear a little bit more here shortly.
Was quiet, introverted, which there's nothing wrong with that. He was a general surgery resident at the time where I was doing my residency as well. And he was really nice. Like there was no issues with him. He was always kind and respectful with me. I've been over his house. It's pretty crazy that you never know someone. But long story short, he did tell me a little bit about his divorce at the time. So, and again, I want to preface this with this is his side of the story and what he spoke to me. This is not truth. This is obviously very biased. But what he told me was that one day he came home from residency and that Monique had vanished. Like she took everything. She left the house completely empty and also took their dog. He was just left very stunned because he didn't see this coming, and he was like completely devastated. So again,
What'd I tell you? What'd I tell you? And we know this already, that he came home from work one day and Monique, the dog, were gone, right? And Monique did this for her safety because she was scared. She was threatened by him. If you ever leave me, he would hurt her or unalive her, right? So, what do you think drove him? Okay. Now, here is my theory on that. And I think I'm right. I'm just going to say that right now. I think I'm right on this. This is a man who was adopted, right? He was adopted, and therefore you have abandonment issues. You have abandonment issues. And sometimes hurt or whatever can turn into anger. He went home. His wife was gone. The dog was gone. His life, the way he took it, was essentially gone. Right? And he felt abandoned. And then this went to anger after a while. It went to anger because Monique, fought hard to create a good life after him. And she looked happy. She married successful. She has the beautiful home. She has the beautiful children. She's got the beautiful life. And he couldn't stand her being happy, content, because his ego, yes, narcissistic, it took away from him.
and this is his side of the story, his thing. Not even sure if it's truth, but I do remember him saying that to me. He also, another thing that I remember is that he didn't really talk about his parents. He did tell me he was adopted by an older couple, and he just like they were good parents, but he just never talked about them. He never talked to them. I would call my mom like every day. We have a great relationship, but he was just much more reserved. He never really, when I asked him more, he just didn't really want to talk about it. So I kind of left it at that. This is him. This is us celebrating New Year's with a bunch of my friends and family, and this is me right here, and that's him, which is crazy. He also has been to my family home. That's him right there. This is me and my family members.
Okay, so he did not. I'm going to have to go back out and come in, guys, because my chat's not even moving right now. I'll be right back. It's so annoying. I don't know what's going on with it. Hopefully that'll work better. Hopefully, I hope. Come on, YouTube, get it together. So he didn't really talk much about his childhood, his family, or anything. He said he was adopted by older an older couple, and it didn't seem like there was a lot of closeness with him, right? Um, well, Sonny, they do. I mean, so like I was adopted by my grandmother. My grandmother raised me, but there is a fear of abandonment, even in, like that's all I knew growing up, right? But there is still this deep-seated, uh, you know, abandonment, um, that the people who was supposed to take care of you, you like fear of loss. It's a fear of loss, if you get what I'm saying. And the chat's still not moving. Oh,
But it's honestly shocking, and I'm grateful that the Lord protected me from moving forward in that relationship. The reason why it ended was I honestly wasn't feeling it. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but he was just kind of boring. And he was very much like kind of surface level. There was no like, I couldn't go deep with him. And yeah, that's why like I couldn't form like a deep connection with him because of that. Like, I think he had a wall up where he just like could not go deep with like any conversations really. So that's why it ended. And I moved up north, and the long distance thing didn't work out either. I'm praying for Monique and the Tepe family and their children. But I don't know, I'm shocked. Also, guy aged like a banana, so don't judge me. Okay, so crazy story time.
Okay, so he says that he was just surface level. She found him rather boring, um, and to me, the surface level says that he didn't really. Maybe it was fear of going surface level, just staying surface level right there. But it's also, I think, in my opinion, where he doesn't want someone to truly know him as well either. I think that could be a part of it as well. It's nonetheless very, very interesting. And I'm going to show you some of the photos here. Hello, Christy. Good to see you, my friend. Right here is some of the photos. 2017 and 2018. He looks like he had gained a little weight there. After, I guess, the divorce or whatever. But I don't know. It's so weird. Don't you think it's like so weird? I don't know. Hello, my babies. Good to see you. Thank you so much for months, girl. Oops, wrong one. Thank you so much. My love. All in the neck, Sam says. Thank you so much. My babies are my number ones. Thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate your continued support of the channel. Really do. I think he feels if he goes deep and it doesn't work, that's him abandoned. I agree. I agree. Yep, I agree. So that's very interesting. I don't know if she made any more videos. I don't think she made any more videos. Yep. Let me make sure. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure. She doesn't do like a lot of TikToks. She's just got like a few, maybe like 10 videos or something like that. Is it better? It's better to have loved than lost than to have never loved at all. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, what's coming out today? Well, let me just kind of comb over that thing a little bit. She says her heart dropped when her friend sent her an article about Tepe unalivings uh, and McKee's arrest. Can you imagine being in her position and someone you dated just a few years back, like a doctor of all people, unalived his ex-wife and his ex-wife's new husband while children were in the home. Like, she dodged a bullet. She really dodged a bullet there. I mean, I just can't. I freaking can't. Let me pull this up right here. This poor girl, man. I just don't even know what she could do. And then she said, he told me one day he came home from residency and Monique had vanished. Michael McKee is obviously one of her ex-boyfriends. She dated him around the end of 2017 and 2018 and a good chunk of 2018. She says he was a nice guy, quiet, introverted, nothing wrong with that. He was really nice, no issue with him. She's been over to his house. He did tell me a little bit about his divorce at the time. This is his side of the story. Obviously, he's very biased. It's pretty crazy how you never know someone. What he told me was that one day he came home from residency and Monique had vanished. Like, she took everything. She left the house completely empty and also took their dog. He was just left very stunned. He didn't see this coming. He was just completely devastated, he says. So again, this is his side of the story. His thing, she doesn't even know if it's true, but she does remember him saying that to her. He did tell me that he was adopted by an older couple and he never talked about them. McKee had older adoptive parents and he never talked about them. He showed photos of himself with McKee, which she showed photos, which is up here with McKee, at her house with her family, but it wasn't kind of the same way with his family, right? What is it? Sure, that would be great. So guys, y'all were absolutely right on something. There was a silencer used. There was a silencer used. And I'm shocked about that, to be honest with you. This guy used a silencer. And silencers are obviously, tamper down the sound of things, but it's not really, it doesn't make it like super, super quiet. But I have a demonstration I'm going to show you guys. I've got a video being sent of a silencer being used. Them starting today wouldn't be too long after yes, exactly. I like, was he mad that she took everything as well? Is that why he was trying to make her pay the $1,200 and for her freaking ring? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
About what it takes to bring the suspect in the double murder of a Wineland Park couple back to Ohio. Michael McKee was arrested Saturday in Rockford, Illinois by federal agents.
And he is still being held there, accused of killing his ex-wife, Monique Tepe, and her husband, Spencer. December 30th. Columbus police say the plans are in the works to bring McKee back to Ohio.
NBC4's crime and safety reporter Anna Hoffman spoke with a retired FBI agent who says extradition is a process.
Retired FBI agent Harry Trombitis tells me there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to extradition. He says every agency does it differently.
And there's a process, trust the process.
Several days after double murder suspect Michael McKee was arrested by federal agents, he is still in Illinois awaiting Columbus police to bring him back to Ohio. McKee is accused of killing his ex-wife Monique Tepe and her husband Spencer Tepe inside their Wineland Park home. Retired FBI agent Harry Trombitis says the people in Illinois have done their part, and now it's on Columbus to coordinate the pickup.
It can be complicated based on a number of reasons.
CPD said in a news conference Wednesday, those plans are in the works.
Felony warrants out of state are primarily handled by extradition companies. And so the determination of whether or not it will be detectives from Columbus or an outside entity, likely an outside entity.
Trombitis says it's normal to use an outside company, but it can also add time.
May not go directly from Illinois right back to Columbus. They may have a couple of stops, some other prisoners that they have to drop off and take care of first.
Trombitis says there are also security concerns.
I hear that when they are transferring them, like those guys can be in a van for like 18 hours and you don't get to use the bathroom, right? You don't get to say, hey, I need to pee. Can you stop at the next exit? No. You either hold it or piss yourself, one or the other. And you're in there with a bunch of other sweaty, stinky ass men. It's not good.
For those transporting McKee.
We're talking about a premeditated, double homicide. And, so there's a lot of security concerns about that.
And McKee's safety, too.
You're responsible for the safety of that individual, no matter what they're charged with. People need to be as patient as they can, understand that it's a process. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong or they're having.
I don't know of anyone he dated after that. No, I don't.
Problems.
Personally.
It's just, it's a process.
Trombitis says he knows people want to know more, but police have to remain tight-lipped so they do not jeopardize this investigation. McKee currently has a hearing scheduled for next Friday in Illinois to discuss the status of his extradition. Local for you at Columbus Police Headquarters, I'm Anna Hoffman, NBC4.
And NBC4 is pushing.
Do they stop now? Because they used to not stop. They used to not stop. That's it. I need to look up that. Okay. All right. So let's look at this indictment here. Got it pulled up, and we're going to look at it right here. Also, going to be live later with Jack and Lily Sullivan case. They have lots of things coming out about that as well. This is the indictment. He has been indicted for aggravated unaliving and 2 counts of aggravated burglary as well. 1 count with specifications, aggravated unaliving, 2 counts with specification, a total of 5 counts. The jurors of the grand jury of the state of Ohio duly selected, impaneled, sworn, and charged to inquire of crimes and offenses committed within the body of Franklin County in the state of Ohio upon their oath do find and present that Michael McKee, late of said county, on or about December 30th, 2025, within the county of Franklin, aforesaid in violation of 2903.01a of the Ohio Revised Code, did purposely and with prior calculation and design cause the death of Monique Tepe. And then the grand jury further find and specify that Michael McKee had a firearm on on or about his person or under his control while committing the offense and used it to facilitate the offense. The grand jury further find and specify that Michael McKee had a pew firearm that was equipped with a firearm muffler or suppressor on or about his person or under the control while committing the offense. He had all this shit planned out. Yep, a 9mm. Yep. No, Abigail. We just started just a little bit ago. Okay, and then defendants Michael McKee on or about December 30th, 2025. And it says the same thing about Spencer Tepe as well. Firearm specifications. The grand juries further find and specify that Michael McKee had a firearm on or about his person or under his control committing or the offense and used it to facilitate the offense. And then he's charged also with the suppressor as well. Aggravated burglary. The jurors of the grand jury of the state of Ohio duly selected, impaneled, sworn, and charged to inquire of crimes and offenses committed within the body of Franklin in the state of Ohio upon their oath, do find and present that Michael McKee, late of said county, on or about December 30th, 2025, within the county of Franklin, aforesaid, in violation to 29.11.11a of the Ohio Revised Code, did by force, stealth, or deception trespass as defined in section 2911.21a1 of the Revised Code in an occupied structure or is separately secured or separately occupied portion of an occupied structure when Spencer Tepe and or Monique Tepe, a person other than the accomplice, was present with purpose to commit in the structure or in the separated structure or separately occupied portion of the structure any criminal offense, and the offender inflicted physical harm on Spencer Tepe and or Monique Tepe, and or the offender had a deadly weapon, to wit, a firearm, or about his person or under his control. Wow. Okay. And then this talks about he just had a firearm and or on his person under his control while committing the offense used to facilitate the offense. And then this is, again, the suppressor for it as well, right? Okay. And this is the aggravated murder one. The jury of the grand jury of the state of Ohio duly selected, impaneled, sworn, and charged to inquire of crimes and offenses committed within the body of Franklin in the state of Ohio upon their oath, do find and present that Michael McKee, late of said county, on or about December 30th, 2025, within the county of Franklin, aforesaid, a violation of 2903.01b of the Ohio Revised Code, did purposely cause the death of Monique Tepe while committing and or while fleeing immediately after committing the offense of aggravated burglary. And it just says pretty much the same there. And again, about the firearm or the suppressor for her. And then it says the same thing for Michael McKee as well. And then it is signed Franklin County, Ohio Clerk of Court of the Commons, please, 2026 day of January 16th, 11:45 a.m. that was today. All of the above conduct being contrary to the form of the statute in such cases made and provided and against and peace and dignity of the state of Ohio. Shayla D. Favor, prosecuting attorney, Franklin County, Ohio. And then it's got Daniel Limmer, 2086 430, assistant prosecuting attorney. And they got a true bill, meaning everything that they wanted on there, they got. She mentioned me in her last video. She said the viewer, but she was going to say my name next. What's that? Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. All right. So let's get on. Hold on, just let me see. Let me show you this right here now. Speaking of Nancy Grace, we're gonna play something of hers here in just a second because she did a great job on something a little bit ago. Guys, there are so many cases right now that's going on. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. There's like, there was an indigenous kid missing this morning, 8 years old. The child was found dead a little bit ago, and they're investigating that right now. And there is a boy that's missing in, I think it's North Carolina. FBI is on that as well. It's crazy what all is happening. It's like, God, what is up with people? I truly don't know. All right, so we're going to go to News Nation right now. Ashley Banfield. As if you're just joining us, please hit that thumbs up button. Greatly appreciated.
Were you on that night? And you can ask a couple of other questions. And everything you say, well, you got to stick with it from then on. Like, I was never in that house. I wasn't in Columbus. I haven't talked to Monique in years. If those things were said, those defenses go out the window. I'm going to explain everything. Mark Garagos is just a master at this. And so we're going to pick apart all the things that Dr. McKee may have just torpedoed in terms of mounting a defense for all the forensic things we are seeing are likely coming to light. We're tipped off.
Okay. So imagine that, this is why you never talk to police without an attorney. Because I mean, honestly, if you say something right, it will be used against you. It will be used against you. Like you said, no, I've been to Columbus in 2 years. Why would I be in Columbus, December 30th? And they find anything of yours in that home or you on that street, you better have a really good excuse because you are locked in that defense and it's not going any freaking where.
To that on Monday during my interview with former prosecutor Matt Murphy. Here's what he said.
What's really interesting, Ashley, is there is a system known as NIBIN, and that's the National Ballistics database where they take shell casings, assuming it's a semi-automatic handgun. We don't know that yet, but the shell casings that get expended on those, they're like DNA for firearms.
Okay, so we talked about the NIBIN yesterday and how that works, but Nancy Grace made a really good point a little bit ago, and I'm gonna show you about that in just a second.
As to why it was ATF agents who actually made the caller, the ones who arrested Dr. Michael McKee last Saturday near the Rockford, Illinois hospital where he worked. As it turns out, the NIBIN database is an ATF creation. That happened back in 1999. Something else that we learned today: a shadowy person of interest seen on surveillance video in the alley behind the Tepe's home in the time of the murders. Well, according to the police, it's him. It's Dr. Michael McKee. They told us that today, although we all wondered, didn't we? There's so many interesting things I'm going to tell you about, like the way he's walking, the height, the gait, the stride, all of that. It's a dead giveaway if you know what to look for. But now I want to turn to something that struck me as very interesting in today's police press conference. One answer that was definitive and one answer that wasn't, but spoke volumes nonetheless. The definitive answer was that there have been no police reports made about Dr. McKee stalking or harassing Monique Tepe before the murders. That at least was said about that house. No reports from that house. But when reporters asked if there had been any communications between Dr. McKee and Monique Tepe, this was the answer the police chief gave.
Can you tell us if McKee and Mrs. Tepe had any contact leading up to this incident, months, weeks?
Wow.
Someone
just texted me. Someone just text me, and they made a really good point. We know that allegedly Michael McKee, he did not hurt or unalive the kids, thankfully. But there had to be a reason for that, right? And this person said, I wonder if he wanted to make them orphans like he was. Now that makes you think. That really makes you think, right? I wonder if that's the reason. Was it, people say some bad things when you're fighting or whatever, was that ever, brought up while they were fighting or whatever? And he's like, okay, I'll show you. He's pure evil. Yes, he really is. He is pure fucking evil. But now, Monique and Spencer's kids. Yeah, it's just another layer. Exactly, Lilo.
Purposes, but what I can tell you again is that we didn't have any reports or anything linked to that specific location as it relates to the ex-husband and Monique Tepe.
Okay. So no reports ever came from 1411 North 4th Street about Dr. McKee, but could they have come from any other locations about Dr. McKee? Don't know. And notice how the chief hedged on the question of communications. She said, there are some things we cannot share. She didn't say no reports of communications. So the silence to me speaks volume. Is it possible there were contacts between McKee and Monique, or maybe even between McKee and her husband, Spencer Tepe? I think we're going to find all of this out in the days, weeks, and months ahead. We may hear more details earlier, too, at Dr. McKee's first court date in Ohio. This was just his quick appearance, first time before a judge. He's in Winnebago County. It's not where he's going to be tried. It's where they picked him up. It's where his hospital is in Rockford, Illinois. But he's going to be extradited, right? He's got a date scheduled in Ohio. Actually, it was scheduled for Monday of next week, but they've already now pushed it to Friday, the 23rd of January. Apparently, whoever is in charge of moving him can't do it quickly. Even though he waived extradition. And even though he allegedly made that drive himself, just 6 hours it took him, give or take, between Christmas and New Year's. Joining me now with her expertise on all of this is former FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffendorfer. Okay, Jennifer, I thought of you right away after the press conference, and I asked myself, I wonder what Jen thought of that. So I'll ask you, what does Jen think of that?
Well, I'll tell you what, I agree with you. Her not answering some of those questions.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. We don't know if Michael took anything. He might have taken something out of that house. You never know.
And being very specific made me think they have so much information related to an intersection between these two at some point before the murder. Maybe that was that proximal event I always talk about that happened that ignited this action that he took.
Talk to me about NIBIN, because I've always been under the impression that NIBIN, again, this sort of ballistics dating site, right, for lack of a better description, really got weapons that are out there from bad people doing bad things that already got arrested, and those weapons went into the register. This guy, Dr. Michael McKee, is clean as a whistle. He doesn't have a scratch on his record.
You know, when you think of using NIBIN, that's typically in gang investigations and violent crime investigations where you don't have any clue who somebody committed it, but you have these casings that could connect to another crime. That's what we think of using NIBIN for. But the fact that there is an intersection here tells me that perhaps he bought this weapon at a pawn shop. Perhaps he bought it from a friend of a friend who somehow was connected to some time where that weapon was used, and NIBIN considered it important.
For folks who watch the show on a regular basis, I think they're going to know the answer to this question. But for folks who are kind of getting into the true crime space, a lot of people would wonder, why are the police so tight-lipped? They say they caught their guy. He's arrested. He's not getting out on bail. What's the big deal?
This is a big deal. Right now, they are looking at interviewing witnesses, anybody who saw or knew anything or understood that there were any issues. The minute you start releasing details about...
I think he snapped. I really do. I think there was this big amount of pressure on McKee with what happened in Nevada with the malpractice and all of that. And he knew they were coming for them. But what I don't understand is, being a doctor, malpractice happens to the best doctors. It doesn't mean you're a horrible doctor or anything. But I'm just wondering, like, did he not have his malpractice insurance paid or what? Because yeah, you might have to go to court, but the malpractice insurance pays it out. You don't have to pay that out, right? So why was he avoiding all of this? Right? Like, if you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be sued. It's just the way it is. You are eventually going to be sued. And that's what the insurance is for. It costs a lot of money for malpractice insurance. But that, and then his move, he was closer to Monique, geographically. And I just think he was like, fuck it, here we go. Justin, I think he thought he was the best surgeon ever and did. I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe. So I really think there's going to be there's, like Lolo just said, this is another layer of the onion, and it really is. It really is. Lafferty says the suit was a reminder of his faults, and that his obsession about being dumped the way he was dumped, I think it threw him over the edge. Also, if he was addicted to steroids, that can cause extra aggression. Or if he was on any type of substances, which we don't know that right now, but I'm sure it's going to come out eventually.
About the investigation, you no longer know whether the individual you're interviewing is providing details that they really knew, or was it something they heard on the news. So it's very important that they stay tight-lipped at this stage.
And also that ever-present preservation of a prosecution. If they look, Koberger, they didn't get to prosecute him. It was just a deal. But if this goes to trial, you need to really hold your cards close to your vest. You got to share the discovery with the defendant, but you don't got to share it with Ashley, you know? So I am super curious about the confirmation today that the police said it was.
So there's that. Now we're going to get to the web. Well, I think we're going to go. What time is it? I got another live stream after that. Okay. So yeah, we're going to move to Nancy Grace because she did an absolutely amazing live stream earlier. Maybe 1 second. Here. Okay. Here we go. Give Nancy Grace the credit. I'm particularly interested in the shells. You'll hear what she says here in a second. It's very, very good. But I do believe this lawsuit tipped him over the edge. I mean, they were trying to find him forever. And he was hiding, giving out, fake phone numbers and all of this. Why?
Play into triggering Dr. McKee. There's the one case with the catheter shard left in the leg. Then there's the other case of the inmate who has his amputated.
Yes, you heard that right. Not only was there a catheter left in, there was another case of where this an inmate says that his testicle was amputated. Yes, amputated. So get ready for that.
How long had he been surreptitiously stalking Monique?
He's been obsessing all these years about getting rid of her.
He asked for going cold in pools of blood with their children sitting there with mommy and daddy dead. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. Stone-faced and cold-blooded. A surgeon in court after his ex-wife and her dentist husband both shot dead. He knows exactly what's happening and not a flicker of emotion on his face. Not 1 ounce, not one drop, one scintilla of remorse. How long did he stalk her? As he gets kicked from one jurisdiction to the next, multiple malpractice and claims against him, he looks at her online. She moved on in a big way. She found true love, gets married to an awesome guy. They have 2 children. They get married in their home. They post a video of it, and there he is, alone and miserable. Now we are
alone, miserable, and in lawsuits, right? And left, he thinks that, she left me, took everything from the house, even my dog, and now look at her being so happy, married to a successful guy, got married in their house, had 2 kids, and I'm over here like, blah. He's getting more and more angry. Yes.
learning that she, quote, just had to get out of that starter marriage. It was just for 7 months. It was nearly 10 years ago. And he brewed and bubbled and simmered and stewed for nearly 10 years till he makes an over 300-mile trek to shoot her dead in bed with her husband, her children in the room next door. This is what we've learned. Listen.
She was terrified because he had threatened her life on multiple occasions when they were married. She wasn't shy about talking to people about traumatic experiences that she had with her ex and just how emotionally abusive he was to her.
She took it seriously, apparently. And her other friend said, she didn't think it was fear, that she just hated him. There's just something that we don't really know that happened in that 7 months of marriage, in my opinion. We're still not being told everything. Still not being told everything. And what is it? What was it that created this this hatred between the two? I mean, 7 months. I mean, yeah, she knew him prior to, marrying him and dating him. But what is it?
That's my friends at NBC. I want to analyze what we are hearing straight out to investigative reporter Susan Hendricks, also an author of Down the Hill, My Descent to the Double Murder in Delphi. Susan, on this case from the very beginning. Susan, that is the brother-in-law speaking out. Quote, she was terrified because he had threatened her life on multiple occasions when they were married. That's nearly 10 years ago. She would talk openly to family members. What do you make of it?
I believe, as he said, that she was terrified. And how do I know? Because her social media was private. She was very much kind of on the down low on social media, if you will. I don't think she wanted to make her ex angry. I think because the brother-in-law also said it changed her as a person. He was.
Do y'all think that like she would get threats otherwise, like if it was public? Do you think she would get threats from Michael McKee? In her replies to me on YouTube, she says she's going. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Nancy's a good person.
Is that emotionally abusive? I think it went on beyond the marriage. I think she was fearful of him, clearly. And I think that's why Spencer's dental office knew that something was off that day.
If any of us had known that these threats were actually grounded in possibility, we all would have acted differently. Myself and many others were well aware of kind of the negative impact that he had on her. She was willing to do anything to get out of there.
From our friends at NBC and GMA, that is the brother-in-law, Rob Missler, speaking out. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know what? All survivors do that. Isn't that true, Dr. Bethany Marshall? If only we had known, if actually we had known they were grounded in reality, we would have done things differently. But people don't live their lives thinking, oh, he's going to drive 6 hours and shoot them in their beds. There was no reason they should have known that he was secretly stalking his ex-wife all these years, Bethany.
The family perhaps shouldn't have known, but I believe Monique knew. If her social media was private, if she talked about the abuse. And Nancy, this escalated in just 7 months of marriage. You know, stalking behavior can start just after one date. The guy falls in love with you and then believes there's a special relationship when there's none. The girl doesn't return the text or the phone call, and now he's enraged. And so when women leave a relationship, they're at the highest risk for domestic homicide. As you pointed out, she left. She had moved on. And that very act enraged him, and he punished her for this perceived rejection. That's what he did. He mowed her down, but I think she knew.
Deep down inside, or do you think she saw him, or she got a weird text or an email and she goes, oh my stars, that's McKee? Or do you think it was just a gut feeling in her bones she knew?
I think it was a gut feeling.
I want to know, did he say anything to her that night? Did he want her to know, it's me that did this to you? Did he unalive Spencer first and then speak to her? I can't imagine. I really can't imagine.
I treat women who are stalking victims, and often they fall into a depression. They're in a dysphoric state, and they become preoccupied with the offender. They think about them all the time. They look at out their car windows. They're sitting in a restaurant with a new partner, and they see, like, say, Nicole Brown. They see a car drive by, like a white Tahoe, and they think, oh my God, is that my ex-husband? So they live in fear. Nancy, it gets into their brains. I bet it was in her brain, in her thought process, that she was at risk. It was always there, and that's why she was talking about it.
As we go to air tonight, extradition delayed. What's going on? Is he some sort of a security threat? Why can't we get him to home turf to get this trial ball rolling, get the show on the road? At this time, we know the state is building its case against vascular surgeon Dr. McKee. Just think about this guy. He excelled in everything he did. That's his mugshot. He excelled in everything. He played football on a very high level in college. He was Dean's List honor student in undergrad. He was a star student in medical school. He went on to become a vascular surgeon, certified to practice in multiple jurisdictions. Just before the two, Monique and her husband, are shot dead, he gets sacked with a malpractice suit, a pretty serious one, and another claim that one patient actually lost his because of McKee.
Damn. She was then close to 30 when she married the first doctor, and she dated him several years before she married him, ? Then deciding you don't want to be married 7 months after. They knew each other for several years, from what I understand, Laura Bell. And I don't know how long they dated or whatever, but people can change very quickly once they say I do. It can change people. It's like they think they have like total control over you or whatever. And I think that might have been the way McKee was, in my opinion. He was just the type of man that was, once you said I do, he just control. Right. He had no idea that she was going to leave. Her parents came there with a U-Haul, and she left that way because obviously she was scared. Had to have been scared. Dating someone and being married to someone is completely different. It is, yes, it really is. It's completely different. It absolutely is. Okay, let me show you this right here.
Chief Medical Examiner, District 2 Medical Examiner's Office, State of Florida. He is a forensic pathologist, toxicologist, neuropathologist. Dr. Coyne, thank you for being with us. I want to address
she was using that as
the
an
two
example.
Children have been through. Guys, I'm going to get to the news as quickly as I can about the fact that his extradition has been delayed. What does it mean? Don't worry. He's not burning up the interstate, the Ohio Turnpike, to get back home, because Ohio does have the death penalty. It was hanging. Then it went to Old Sparky, the electric chair. Now it's needle, death by lethal injection. There's a moratorium on right now on the death penalty, but it's not official. It's unofficial. They can't get the correct drugs to perform death by needle. But who knows? Maybe they'll go back to death by firing squad like other jurisdictions have done, or possibly some sort of nitrous oxide. That's on the table as well. That's a whole nother can of worms. Dr. Thomas Coyne, I want to talk to you about the two children. They're both under 4 years old. They were heard in the background. If I could get the control room to pull up the 911 call where you can hear the children screaming, wailing in the background. Dr. Coyne, what would the children have seen? Because we know that the husband was shot twice. Monique was shot once. And they have placed the shootings after 3 a.m. and cops didn't break in. Well, actually, friends had to get in the home until hours and hours later, well after 9 a.m. Would the blood have coagulated? Would the bodies have gotten cold? Because I believe the children were in there with their parents' dead bodies.
Horrible, horrible. Yeah, I mean, number one, just coming upon the bodies and depending upon where they were shot, but there would have been a considerable amount of bleeding, especially even from a head wound or a wound to the chest. And so their clothing may have been soaked in blood. Where they were lying, for instance, if they were in a bedroom, the bed sheets may have been soaked in blood. And depending upon where they were shot, if it was an angled shot that sort of hit the head.
I believe the doors were locked from what I understand. Thank you, Laura Bell. I don't think you'd take everything if you were so afraid of someone, would you? Just doesn't make sense. It just depends. I don't know. It just depends. She went to her parents' house after she left. I do know that. And so we'll see.
There could have been a tearing of the scalp tissue. So it could have been quite horrific and gruesome for the children to see their parents in that state.
Tell me about what you would expect to see around a scene where the husband had been shot twice in the chest with a 9mm and the wife shot once, we also believe, in the chest. Would there have been, well, we also know another.
Well, Spencer was shot, I think, 3 times. And she was shot at least once. They haven't really said exactly. Columbus may lead the outside to believe that extradition is delayed, but he will undoubtedly be in Columbus in a few days maximum. The sheriff's department will be transporting him, according to reports. Yeah, next Friday, he supposedly has a hearing. Yeah, I think he was. I've heard 3 times and I've heard 5 times. Regardless, you only need 1 time with a 9mm to unalive someone. Right? There is one in the UK where a daughter unalived both her parents and lived with the body. Oh, yeah. Can you imagine? Oh my God. Living with someone dead for 5 years. Like, the hell?
Another fact, when the friend came in and saw the dentist's dead body, he said he was half on, half off the bed or beside the bed.
He was beside the bed.
Would that blood have already coagulated in, say, 6 hours? Would the bodies already be cold? It's freezing cold outside and snowing, but the ambient temperature in the room probably 68, 69, or 70.
The bodies would have started, had they been shot hours prior, the body temperature would have started to acclimate towards that of the home. And they certainly would have probably still had some rigor present.
So whenever you die, people thinks you're cold or whatever. You are the exact same temperature as the room. You are the exact same temperature of the room. So if the room is 65 degrees, you're going to be 65 degrees after the heat has left your body. I think you lose heat at about 2 degrees, 2.5 degrees per hour, if I'm correct. In a long time. But I think you lose about 2.5 degrees per hour. And that's how they can generally tell, based upon temperature, of how long you've been dead. Yeah, thank you, Becca. And so there's that. And then after you become room temperature, if you will, there's different methods that they can, based upon what's the word I'm looking for? Rigor mortis, and rigor mortis lasts anywhere from 12 to I think 18 hours or so. It depends.
And the body a little stiff. The blood would have settled.
Slow down, Dr. Coyne. Rigor. You mean when the children come upon their mom and they try to touch her or hold her, she's already in rigor mortis.
Yes. So her body would have been stiff to cold and probably stiff to touch. Her arms and her legs may have been rigid. And there probably was also livor mortis, which is the settling of the blood based upon gravity. So you'll see pinkish or purple discoloration of the body on the bottom where it's lying. And so it probably would have been.
So whenever you die, obviously, your heart is no longer pumping, and the blood, whichever way, like if you're on your side when you die, right, the blood is going to pool onto the lowest portions of your body. So they would be like if you died on your face or on your side, there's going to be a big pool right here. It's on your elbows, obviously on your back and all that as well. That's what livor mortis is. So they can tell
encountered that upon seeing the two victims. The blood also, would have started to coagulate. If it sits for quite a long period of time, you can also see separation of the cellular component from the liquid component. So we call it serum. So you may see a little separation of that as well. But if it's soaked into the bed sheets, it would have just looked all red.
Just thinking about what those children saw and experienced. When you say both mom and dad would be in full rigor, unless you've seen it, it's hard to explain. The only way I've explained it to a jury is that, a 2x4, right? You've been around lumber, right, doctor? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just like that. If you try to touch the mom, her arm is like a 2x4. It's that hard. It's that stiff.
That's stiff, and you can't bend it. It's almost immobile. And so for the child who's going up to their parents hoping to feel a warm body, it would probably feel horrible. I mean, just cold and very stiff, non-responsive.
Dr. Bethany, I don't know how a child, 2 children under the age of 4,
I really hope to God that did not happen with these kids. I hope to God that they did not see their parents like that. From what has been said, that the doors were allegedly locked, that they had not left their room. That would be, 1 and 4 years old, especially the 4-year-old I just can't imagine. He may very well be in Columbus by Sunday. They will probably pick him up in the middle of the night. They will definitely pick him up in the middle of the night.
Thought they were seeing, but I can tell you this, I don't care what all the shrinks say, children remember long before 3 years old. I have memories as early as 2 years old that I can identify. I think my daughter has memories before that. How will they remember that? Will they suppress it? Will it come back in dreams? Will it affect their personalities for the rest of their lives?
It'll come back in so many forms, Nancy. It could come back, as I've said before, at a pre-conscious, pre-verbal level, meaning they have the sensation of seeing a traumatic scene, but they can't really put it into words. They could be walking down the street someday and see somebody walk in front of a car and have a flashback and think, oh my God, that car is going to hit that person. They could become people who refuse to form attachments because this premature loss of the parent makes them too terrified of abandonment. It's going to affect them on all levels, Nancy. It could predispose them to personality disorders, to drug abuse, to alcoholism. This will have a traumatic effect. The best thing that can happen for these children is to go into a new family where there are predictable and safe attachment systems, so they can
They're
kind
with their
of
relatives
include
now, Dr. Bethany.
That's good.
The two children
They need
are
to
with
be with their
relatives, and I
relatives.
think the dog is a golden doodle, and it is also with the children. Hey, Dr. Coyne, let me ask you a question. I was thinking about what the children would have experienced, and I was out jogging the other night, and I smelled a smell. And it immediately made me think of my grandmother, Lucy, that helped raise me. It was kind of a fresh, like a cucumber, not quite a cucumber, but something like that. And I don't know what it is. I've tried to identify when I do smell it, where is that coming from? It must be some kind of a plant. But I immediately think of her because she smelled that kind of a fresh smell. Dr. Coyne, what?
Your smell is deep seated with your memory. Smell and music will always take you back to a time and a place. Larry, this was Spencer's dog. Never heard what her dog's name. They just had Larry. They just had Larry, the one dog. This man is the epitome of selfish. I don't understand people who can't let go. I know it's rare to find good fathers. Did the babies end up at the service? I don't know. They was debating over that. They were debating over that. So I don't know if they did that or not. They had a private ceremony that was about maybe a little over 100 people. And, you know, just very, very small. This coming out 2 hours ago. I think the brother-in-law has the dog Larry. Yes. Yes. Yep, I remember a specific song my mom played at my sister's dad's funeral when I was 4. Yep. You will always remember that. A song will take you back to whenever, like, you was, whether it was a relationship or a time in your life or whatever. It will smell.
He is now facing 5 charges in the deaths of his ex-wife, Monique Tepe, and her husband, Spencer. That's after a Franklin County jury, a grand jury, handed down an indictment today.
10 TV's Lacey Christ was the first to break this news through a 10 TV push alert at 12:15 this afternoon, and she has been following this case since the Tepes were found dead in their Wineland Park home. That was back on December 30th.
Lacey joins us now and explains what the charges mean and what happens next.
This is a copy of the indictment filed against Dr. Michael McKee. He's charged with using a silent.
Look at the flowers they have up there. Isn't that sweet? Look at them. All the people that's brought flowers by. A lot of love that was in that house, but the last day that they were in it, the last night, there was a lot of rage and a lot of evil.
On the gun. That could explain why neighbors here tell me they didn't hear anything the night the Tepes were killed.
Short of a death penalty specification, this is as serious a legal proceeding as we have in the criminal justice system. First of all, the silencer specification is a 6-year spec.
Criminal defense attorney Sam Szymanski is not involved in the case, but explains why vascular surgeon Dr. Michael McKee is now facing 4 counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of aggravated burglary.
Mr. Leonard has indicted this, as most good prosecutors do, with alternative theories. The first theory is that the accused thought about it, planned it, and committed it. The second theory is that there was an ag burglary that maybe went wrong and that somehow resulted in the death. So it's an alternative theory.
Columbus police say this grainy
Now,
surveillance video.
I'm not down with the second theory. I'm not down with the second theory. I don't think the second theory. I mean, this was rage. This was jealousy. This was anything but, he came to steal something.
Is McKee in the alleyway behind Spencer and Monique Tepe's home. Police say they have video of McKee getting out of his car just before the killings and getting back into that car just after.
Now, look at that. That's major, guys. That's major. They have McKee getting out of his car. They have McKee getting in his car. He's fucked. This guy is fucked bad. If they've got him physically getting out of his car, right? And then getting back in his car and then driving his ass back to Illinois. Oh, honey, you just might as well take a plea deal.
After the couple was killed. Police followed that car to Rockford, Illinois, where McKee works, and was taken into custody at a Chick-fil-A by the ATF.
Michael McKee.
I was in the Winnebago County courtroom as McKee waived his extradition hearing. McKee showed no emotion in the brief hearing. Police Chief Elaine Bryan explained Columbus police searched McKee's Chicago condo and found weapons. Bryan said one of those weapons has been preliminarily matched through ballistics databases with evidence from the homicide scene.
There's no question that that's a tough fact to have to confront if you're accused of, killing two people and they find the gun that was allegedly used in
I'm
the
so sorry,
crime.
honey. I can't see anybody. My chat is just so screwed right now. It's just not even working, so I barely see what y'all are saying right now. Thank you so much for gifting a pearl necklace, girl. How you doing? How you doing? Thank you so much, my love, for gifting that pearl necklace. If you received that pearl necklace, make sure you give our Drew a big ol' thank you. Thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate you. No, see, I'm still got this message up. Can't see hardly any messages. Before I go live next time, I've got to get this figured out because it's driving me nuts on this live stream.
Home, that takes a bit of explaining in order to put in perspective.
And through his public defender in an Illinois courtroom, McKee said he intended to plead not guilty. We're still waiting to hear when he'll be brought here to Franklin County to face charges. In Wineland Park, Lacey Crisp, 10 TV News.
I don't know. That's a good question, Alafaday. That's a good question. I wished he would have done it rather than done it to them, and taking out two people. Just makes no sense. But wherever he parked, like he obviously did not think of this because they've got him going in and out of his car. So this is about his extradition that just came out just a little bit ago. He is a doctor, not entitled to a public defender. It just depends on how much he makes, but yeah, he's not going to have a public defender. I mean, honestly, like it seems like they have a lot of circumstantial evidence, to say the least, right? A lot of circumstantial evidence, which is good. I wonder if they have, physical, which they have the GUN allegedly, and then they have the what is it, the shell casings as well. Okay, this is about his extradition.
Of course, we know that Michael McKee is now charged with 4 counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of aggravated burglary. Now, in this indictment, prosecutors say that he used an automatic gun with a silencer. The court documents don't offer many more details, but here's what we know as of right now. Spencer and Monique Tepe were found dead inside of their Wineland Park home on December 30th. Their 2 children were also inside of that home. Thankfully, they were not hurt. This case gained nationwide attention for nearly 2 weeks until police arrested Michael McKee. Now, Monique, of course, that was her ex-husband. He was arrested on January 10th in Rockford, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. Columbus police say neighborhood surveillance video helped to identify that suspect. Detectives tracked a car that arrived before the killings and left after. Police say they recovered multiple guns from McKee's home, including the one they believe was used in those murders. If convicted, McKee faces life in prison. Now, he says he plans to plead not guilty.
Do you guys think that they'll find any DNA, hair fibers, anything like that? You think they'll find any DNA, hair fibers, either in his car, in his home, or in the Tepe home? I don't know. Hopefully he didn't throw his clothes away.
Tonight he remains
Certainly
locked
didn't throw
up
the
in
pew-pew
Illinois.
away.
He could be brought back here to Franklin County sometime next week. Reporting live in studio tonight, Rodney Dunnigan, ABC 6 News.
As the case moves forward, we're also learning that Columbus police will no longer be in charge of bringing McKee here to Ohio. Now that he has been indicted by the grand jury, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office will be responsible for bringing him here. Former Sheriff Zach
Brought back here to Franklin County.
1 second, I had to rewind that.
Reporting live in studio tonight, Rodney Dunnigan, ABC 6 News.
As the case moves forward, we're also learning that Columbus police will no longer be in charge of bringing McKee here to Ohio. Now that he has been indicted by the grand jury, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office will be responsible for bringing him here. Former Sheriff Zach Scott extradited dozens of people during his long.
Okay, so Franklin County is the one going to be bringing him, not. Okay, interesting.
Career, and he tells us a lot of planning goes into bringing back such a high-profile suspect.
When we would drive at times, we would just have a Chevy Caprice. Suspect would always be handcuffed, but we would establish a rapport with them. We'd spend time talking with them.
The sheriff's office warrants an extradition unit now making plans to extradite McKee to Ohio. However, they are not giving an exact timeline on when he will be returned to Columbus to face that long list of charges. And we will follow this case every step of the way. Make sure you have our ABC 6 News app. To get
So it sounds like they might just extradite him back by himself because it's probably so high profile, right? So yeah, very, very interesting. Okay, y'all. Well, that's it for this one. I will be live again in about 30 minutes from now. A lot coming out in the Jack and Lily Sullivan case. Get ready because Daniel is already saying lies. And I'm going to be on it. You just freaking wait. Oh, God, Daniel. It's crazy. Guys, my chat is absolutely froze. I cannot see what you guys are saying. I do apologize. I'm going to try to figure that out before my next live, or I'll pull it up on my phone or something. I can do that maybe. So we'll figure it out. Thank you all so much for joining me. Do appreciate all of you. We're going to stay up to date with this. You can bet. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Thank you guys. God bless.